Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be talking about the continuing decline of America and how it's really not recoverable at this point. And so we're going to start off talking about the U.S. homelessness rate. And so really a key indicator of the success of a nation, the success of a civilization is, do your people have the basic necessities through which they can use to flourish throughout life? And one of those is having shelter. And so we see here U.S. homelessness goes up by double digits. It goes up by 12%, which means it's rising at the highest level since reporting began in 2007. So this is the most we've had in our reporting history, including during the 2007-2008 financial crisis. This is the largest increase we've had. We see here homelessness is at a record level in the United States. 650,000 people are homeless at a given time in a country that borrows trillions of dollars and spends hundreds of billions of dollars on perpetual war. And California is the number one in terms of countries with the largest homelessness population. So really ridiculous that this is happening in America. And we see that America is collapsing on a variety of fronts. Not only can people not afford a home, but the IQ of America is collapsing. And so I've talked about this in other videos and other contexts, which is that there's something called the Flynn effect. And up until about the this actually gives different, this gives different numbers than other ones. So the Flynn effect shows that up until the 1990s, IQ has actually been increasing. But this information, brought to you by Premu Resor, shows that actually IQ has been declining since about the 1930s. So depending on how you look at it, either the 1930s or the 1990s, there's been a decline in IQ intelligence within America. And we use IQ intelligence quotient to as a proxy for a person's competence, their ability to perform academically, to perform on their job, things like that. So it's usually a pretty good predictor. And so we see that homelessness is going up, intelligence of Americans is going down, and we see that the policy of overwhelming countries with massive amounts of immigration to the point where it can't actually absorb and assimilate that population is not actually just an accident, it's actual government policy. And we have a presidential candidate who is doing very well in the presidential race saying that. We have Vivek Ramaswamy stated that the Great Replacement theory is not a conspiracy theory, but is actually government policy. Okay? And I could say this as someone of Greek, Italian, and Jewish descent, that the original population of America, the Anglo-Saxon population, people of English descent, Germanic descent, French descent, all those different descents of Northeastern Europe, that population was replaced so that the oligarchs in charge could have that continuous churn of people. And you want to have a wide variety of people that are in conflict with each other so that they don't have a chance to collectivize and work to oppose the oligarchs in charge. Okay? And that's exactly what's happened with Greek, Italian, and Jewish immigrants. Again, my ancestors, they were brought to the United States to outcompete the native population for jobs. And you're seeing that recent immigration from typically Latin American countries, a lot of Asian countries, they're being used to replace the native population within America, because you never want to have a population that is working together, because then they will recognize that their opposition are the oppressors, the oligarchical elite within the country. And so that's what they do is, on a very regular basis, they replace the native population of the country so they can't work against the oligarchs. And Vivek Ramaswamy is admitting that now. And you see it goes even further. We have a senator, a sitting senator of the United States, saying they want to make it possible for illegal immigrants, so people who have broken the law, to join the United States military. And we've been seeing increasing evidence that the United States military is being used and is planning to be used against United States citizens. So we see here Senator Dick Durbin wants to make it possible for illegal immigrants to join the U.S. military. Do you know what the recruiting numbers are at the Army, Navy, and Air Force? They can't reach their quotas each month. They can't find enough people. And so he wants to allow illegal immigrants to replace those people. And so Americans are not joining the United States military because the United States military only fights for banking wars. They do not fight to protect and benefit the American population. And because Americans are recognizing that about the United States military and are not joining the military, they want to replace the military so that they can further oppress the American population. That does not sound like a reasonable solution to the ongoing recruiting problems that the United States military has. And we see here that the population of America is waking up to the fact that America is very hostile towards the native population of the country. And so Keith Woods posts here, 72% of Republican voters in the United States agrees that white people's rights are under attack. Only 18% disagree. You'd think a view so popular would be getting political representation, yet no Republican candidate will even say the words white people. Okay, so you see large segments of the population that are recognizing that they are being replaced. Just like Italians, Greeks, and Jewish people did replace the previous English people of the United States, that is happening again. I will be the first to admit it. I think that population should be properly assimilated into a country. They should understand the culture. They should understand the language. They should understand the religion of the country, the fundamental core beliefs of the country, and be assimilated properly. However, we're seeing that millions upon millions of people are coming into the country to such an extent that there's really no feasible way to actually assimilate those people into the country. We could, if we really wanted to, do studies, conduct studies to figure out what are the best ways to assimilate a population, how many people can be assimilated given the current population, et cetera, et cetera. We could do this, but we don't do this because the overall intent is not to have a stable country. It's meant to topple the native population in order to make sure that they cannot work against the oligarchical Zionist class of America. And so here we see a post saying that BBC News in Northern Ireland says anti-immigration signage in West Belfast is being treated as a hate incident, police say. Okay, so I've talked about this in other videos, but law enforcement are there to oppress the populace and do what they are, the enforcement arm of the oligarchs. Okay, and so here, spray painted on this is Irish Lives Matter. That's in Northern Ireland. That's what they're saying. Irish Lives Matter. And that is considered a hate incident because the native population is trying to collectivize against the oligarchs who rule them, and the oligarchs are trying to replace them so that they can't work against the oligarchs. We see even more problems in the United States, which if you thought they were a democracy, they're not a democracy. Their criminal justice system does not represent the will of the people. The immigration system does not represent the will of the people. People are being replaced. Their cities are being filled with criminal elements that are making it a more unsafe environment. And on top of that, elections do not matter in the United States. It's not a true democracy. People seem to want Donald Trump more than current President Biden. And so what they're trying to do is use the judicial system, which has been taken over by hostile activistic elements. They're trying to use that to overthrow the facade of a democratic system, because that's all America has, is a facade of a democratic system. And so I've not voted for Joe Biden or Trump. I don't like either of those candidates. I think they're ridiculous. I think they're beholden to Israel. But this should concern you if you actually believe America is a democracy, because we see now Colorado Supreme Court declares Donald Trump ineligible for the presidency under Constitution's Insurrection Clause. So even though we have evidence showing that he told people to be calm and protest peacefully, and he wasn't charged with insurrection. He wasn't convicted of insurrection, I should say. They are still saying that he committed insurrection, and so he's not eligible to run for president. And I think I'm going to save this for another video, actually. So I think that's a good ending point. We can just see the terminal decline of America across all fronts right now. America is losing in terms of it has a huge homelessness population. People can't afford to feed themselves. The government of America is hostile towards the population of America. They are making presidential candidates ineligible to run for presidency. I mean, you could look at so many examples of America not being a true democracy And it just isn't. It truly, truly isn't. And so I hope to get that through people's heads. I think younger generations are understanding this, but older generations do not understand that they've lived in an oligarchically controlled country for their entire lives. They just haven't realized it because the media and entertainment apparatus has been also controlled by oligarchs. But now that we have the diffusion of information through things like social media and the internet, we can know these things that older generations did not know, and they don't want to admit now that they've been propagandized their entire lives. So if you found this video to be helpful, informative, interesting, useful, please give us a thumbs up. It does help us in the algorithm. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Rumble for more content. Leave us a comment in the comment box below. Questions, concerns, critiques. I do read all of them, and I do respond when necessary. And tell a friend about our channel. We are being suppressed in the algorithm, but we do want to get word out there, and we would appreciate your help in that front. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.